I am more than willing to bet that you are more than familiar with this sound. It's a bleep sensor, and it's used to filter out obscene or classified language and information on the radio, television, movies, and sometimes the internet. This loud sound hurts my ears, but today I'd like to share a few more reasons that censorship can be a bad thing. So let's start by defining censorship. Encarta Encyclopedia defines censorship as supervision and control of the information and ideas circulated within a society, which already sounds dangerous depending on who gets that power in their hands. If a material is immoral, obscene, heretical, blasphemous, seditious, treasonable, injurious to national security, it's subject to attack. Censors try to use power of the state to impose their views of what is right and what is wrong on the rest of society by previewing information and then pressuring public institutions like libraries to remove public access to the information that they judge inappropriate or dangerous so that no one else gets to read it or see it or hear it or make up their own minds about it. The ACLU states that the Supreme Court interpretation of the First Amendment's protection of artistic expression extends not only to books, theater, and paintings, but also to posters, TV, music videos, and comic books, so whatever the human creative impulse produces. Two fundamental principles help the court come to a decision in cases involving artistic freedom or freedom of expression. And the first thing is content neutrality, which says that the government can't limit expression just because a listener or even a community of listeners doesn't like it or is offended by it. The second thing is that expression can only be restricted if there is an imminent and direct harm to an important societal interest. The ACLU says that the classic example of this is shouting fire in a crowded theater that could cause a stampede, and still calling fire, the person that does that can only be punished if danger is unavoidable. So the First Amendment covers our rights to make art and talk about it. So who are the censors? It's not the government. According to the American Library Association, in most cases, a censor is a sincerely concerned individual who believes that censorship can improve society, protect children, and restore what the censor sees as a lost moral values. We are the censors. The Constitution protects everyone, and while this is a good thing overall, it still allows for room for discrimination because we, as humans, do not possess the trait of true objectivity. Therefore, a dilemma lies within the protection of the Constitution, and we have this age-old question: where do one person's rights begin and end, and another one's begin? Gasset, my favorite philosopher, once wrote, "When a man dislikes an art but understands it, he feels superior to it, and there is no need for indignation. But when his dislike is due to his failure to understand, he feels vaguely humiliated, and his sense of inferiority must be counterbalanced with indignant self-assertion." This is exactly what happened in Illinois 2 months ago. Let me preface this by saying not all art is meant to be pretty. Some art is meant to spark discussions, and hiding blooming ideas from the public prevents the conversation from happening, which hinders imagination and expression and is detrimental to society as a whole. So back to Illinois. A mural called American Nocturne faced backlash years after its creation. After 10 years, somebody decided to take notice and misinterpreted that imagery, David Powers, the artist, said. Controversy sparked whenever someone realized that the mural was based on a famous photo of a lynching of 2 African-American men that happened in Indiana in the 1930s. And although American Nocturne didn't show the whole scene, only the white people pointing, which according to the artist was to spark conversation about racism, some citizens of the community didn't quite understand and labeled it racist and pushed for the removal of the art. The director of programs of the National Coalition Against Censorship defended the art in a letter to the mayor. by saying, the removal of the mural misses an opportunity to present a reminder about a terrible moment in our history. No matter how chilling and painful the reminder proves to be, the history of racial violence in America cannot and must not be suppressed. Peter DeBoya, professor of cultural history and aesthetics at King's College, said if texts are not taught, you risk cultural amnesia. He was saying that art censorship is more than taking an ugly painting off of a wall. History could repeat itself. It's a danger to society. Sweeping things under the rug does not get rid of them, so we shouldn't hide controversial art because it could upset someone or make someone uncomfortable. We need these conversations. Overall, art censorship is dangerous. It's a violation of rights. It can allow history to repeat itself, and if it's let too far, it will negatively impact society by eliminating some fuel for conversation covering tough topics. Also, the resources of today, like reviews, the internet, magazines, etc., they eliminate the need for censorship. If you don't want to see something, read a review first. So instead of censoring art, artists and teachers should educate and inform their audiences and allow for discussions to occur. So I want to leave you with this. Ask yourself, how would you feel if your hard work, something you poured yourself into, was hidden from the public or even destroyed because someone didn't understand it and they got offended? Thank you.